Mr. Mica.
The gentleman from Florida is recognized for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you so much for the time and for the introduction, the opportunity to speak on this important transportation and HUD funding bill. I want to, first of all, compliment Mr. Olver, Mr. Latham, the two leaders of the Appropriations Subcommittee, on a great job that they have done, the effort that they have put together, their staff, in addressing transportation and infrastructure needs for the nation. And this is one of the most important bills that will pass, because this job actually will put people to work. And I can tell you, my colleagues, and every one of you know the statistics, the national unemployment is 9.5%. In my state of Florida, we're 10.5%. I have some counties in my district that are 15%. And we have a problem. And one of the ways to get people working and in jobs is building infrastructure, and we actually have something tangible when we get done. Now, I do want to raise an issue that I have with the bill, but it is not something that is the responsibility of the authors of this legislation, Mr. Olver or Mr. Latham, and they have been most cooperative. We've had a great working relationship, myself as an authorizer and the two of them as appropriators. From time to time, and in the past there have been great battles, I've seen some of them, about authorizing on an appropriations bill. Now, I went to the Rules Committee and I didn't get a chance to speak on the rules. I voted against its passage and asked the Rules Committee to pass an amendment that would have sped up the process by which we could get these dollars out, so we could actually get people working sooner rather than later. And I know people have asked me for bigger government programs or more bailouts, but they have asked for an opportunity to work, and nothing's been harder hit than transportation projects. I've got one little quote here from the Secretary of Transportation in Pennsylvania, who says the unemployment rate for construction workers there is 21%, and it's high all over the nation. But we can get people to work. The Rules Committee ruled out of order my amendment that would have sped up the process for consideration of transportation projects, both for stimulus and also for this type of funding legislation. Actually, what I had is that my staff go through and they just tab one section of this of legislating on an appropriations bills, and all these tabs represent legislating on an appropriations measure. But the Rules Committee, and I don't raise any questions about these. Some of this is probably fine. We've talked together and we agree on it. But what I'm concerned about is that the Rules Committee took, again, the bill as it stood, but failed to take my proposed amendment and said I was legislating on appropriations. And my measure, again, would have sped up the process. Don't think we can't do that. I stood here with Mr. Oberstar that the day that the bridge collapsed over the Mississippi River in Minneapolis, we rebuilt that bridge in 437 days. Normally the process to rebuild that, if you went through all the normal hoops and red tape, federal requirements, would take 6-7 years. We can do the same thing because we have a national emergency now, and we need to get this transportation money that this good, well-intended and very effective subcommittee is bringing forth. It's a good measure. They've worked together in a bipartisan fashion. But what I'm saying is we need to get that money and stimulus money out. We're having the same problem with our stimulus money, getting it out. There's $48 billion in the under the Department of Transportation's responsibility. So far, we have $771 million. And let me say, the state transportation departments across the country are doing their level best. They're doing a great job in getting that money out. But that's less than $1 billion of $48 billion out. And the reason is it's caught up in red tape. Let me take what not a Republican governor said. I believe the North Carolina governor, Governor Perdue, said there's so much red tape and it's discombobulating. Now, just for the record, and I will give the clerks the proper spelling of discombobulating for the record of the House, He says it's irritating. That's Purdue. Here's a little engineer in a county in Indiana, and he said, I've got an engineer full-time, and that's just about, and that's B-O-U-T, not about. Just about all he's doing is red tape every day. Can I get an additional?
Gentleman's time expired.
2.
Yes, that would be great, because I'm on a roll.
2 minutes.
I would yield the gentleman from Florida 2 additional minutes.
Again,
2 minutes.
I want to take, not just the high secretary or governor or secretary of transportation, as I used in Pennsylvania, or the governor of North Carolina, but here's a county engineer in Elkhart County, Indiana. He says, I've got an engineer full-time, and that's just about all he's doing is red tape every day, filling out forms. So my proposal, had the Rules Committee accepted it, would have sped up the process. Now, I didn't come here to say we should roll over any environmental requirements or regulations. What I said is we should condense the process, because this, my fellow members of Congress, is a national emergency. If you don't think it's a national emergency, go back to your office and find some of those letters from folks that are pleading with Congress to help them find a job, to get people employed in their family so they can pay their mortgage, so they can build their dreams like we all want to do. But they're not able to do that, and we're not able to get the money out because of the red tape and constraints. So, again, I regret that the Rules Committee rejected my proposal. I'll be back here again.
Would the gentleman yield?
Here. Yes, I would always yield to the chairman.
Well, I thank the gentleman for yielding, and if to finish this and allow him to respond in some kind of way, I would give the gentleman additional time, Mr. Chairman. But I just wanted to say that I can remember, and I think probably if you think about it a little bit, you can remember too, because my memory is probably a lot poorer than yours, times when this bill was brought to the floor, and point of order after point of order to the level of practically stripping half the bill away were made by your committee while you were well, maybe you weren't the chairman at that particular time, but a few years ago that sort of thing did happen. I yield the gentleman. I yield the gentleman 2 additional minutes. And furthermore, just after that, I would just simply say that we have already obligated, of those $47 billion, more than $21 billion has been obligated. Those expenditures are going on. That's more than the amount that was intended to be obligated by the end of the 09 fiscal year. So we're already obligating the money into the 010. So it's getting out there pretty quickly, though I do have great sympathy for the position that you are taking, that it takes far too long, and I hope that authorizing will take care of that in a new event.
Let me say that I did not come here today, and I know what went on in the past about my committee calling points of order on authorizing on an appropriations measure. I didn't come to burn Rome. I came to help you build Rome, and I have no objection to these, nor did I object on any. But I did object to my one, here's 45, not being considered by the Rules Committee. And you are not, your committee is not the Rules Committee. And let me say this, too, that while the argument, we've obligated money, but, I can't go back to my office and say, Mr. So-and-so or Madam So-and-so constituent, that we've obligated money, it's not out there, so there isn't that hope for a job. All I'm trying to do is try to get the money expedited so we can get jobs going. And then finally, let me tell you why it's important to get that money out there now, folks, and listen to this. This is $1 American dollar, and I can tell you that right now you will get the best deal ever to do infrastructure projects in the country. My district secretary told me that serves my congressional district, bids are coming in 25 to 30% lower. One additional.
One additional minute, please.
Thank you.
One additional minute.
Thank you so much. Bids are coming in 25 to 30% lower. So you see this 3/4 of of a dollar, I can get $1's worth of construction now for $0.75. We have American infrastructure on sale, wholesale, and we should be getting that money out in the interest of taxpayers and building that. And then, heaven forbid, you know, it's not like some of these other programs or the bailouts, and I didn't come here asking for a bailout. All I'm asking for is something tangible, and that's what your subcommittee provides so well for our nation, is something tangible. Roads, bridges, highways, transit systems, all of which we need across this land. From sea to shining sea, we're drowning in congestion. We don't have high-speed rail systems like Europe and Asia and some of the people around the world. So I don't mind spending it. My dad used to say, it's not how much you spend, son, it's how you spend it. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman from